सफेद वो रंग काले बदन पर, बोलता नहीं पर कहता ज्यादा। रंग सारे जो कैद थे मुझ में, मिलाए तुमने तो बना सफेद वो रंग। कुछ ही समय हुआ था मुझे उस स्कूल में जब मैंने पहली बार उसे नोटिस किया था। क्लासरूम के बाहर पनिशमेंट में खड़ा था वो, अपने जूतों को देखता हुआ। शायद सोच रहा था कि ये लेस कैसे बांधूं, क्योंकि हाथ तो बिजी थे। फिर कई बार मैंने उसे वहीं देखा। कोई दिमागी बीमारी नहीं थी उसे, और ना ही कोई डिसीज। फिर भी स्कूल के टीचर्स ने कई सारे लेबल्स दे रखे थे उसे।
ना समझ, नाकारा, नालायक, नॉनसेंस। तेरी समझ में नहीं आता। चल जा, मुर्गा बन जा।
अरे सर, इसको तो मुर्गा बनना भी नहीं आएगा।
तू चुप बैठ। चल तू भी मुर्गा बन, बैठ।
फिर से डी। बेटा ABC भी होता है, कभी वो भी ले आया कर।
ठीक से पढ़ना, लिखना, इवन बोलना तक मुश्किल था उसके लिए। बहुत सी साधारण सी चीज़ों में भी पीछे रह गया था वो। लेकिन इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि आप उसे आगे ही ना बढ़ने दें, उसके आत्मविश्वास को तोड़ दें, उसे इतना डराएं कि वो बेचारा अपने आप को जानने के बजाय अपने आप से भागे। घर, सोसाइटी और स्कूल से नकार दिए जाने के बाद वो अपने आप को उन्हीं लोगों की नज़रों से देखने लगा और अपनी कमियों और अपने अकेलेपन को बढ़ावा देने लगा। लेकिन वो ये नहीं जानता था कि उसकी आंखें और उसके हाव भाव अपने आप में कितना कुछ कह देते हैं। दरअसल वो अपने आप से केवल एक कदम की दूरी पर था। हम अक्सर इंसान में ये देखते हैं कि वो क्या नहीं कर सकता, बजाय ये देखने के कि वो क्या कर सकता है। वैसे अब उसका सफेद रंग काफी पॉपुलर हो चुका है। कहता है, पहले मैं अक्सर अकेला बैठकर रोया करता था, पर अब जब भी रोता हूं तो सामने बैठा हर इंसान मेरे साथ रोता है। उसे तो एक टीचर का और माइम का सहारा मिल गया, पर उसके जैसे बाकी बच्चों का क्या? क्या उन्हें कोई सफेद रंग मिलता है?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. Welcome to our webinar. As a video presented before, I know everyone must be wondered, right? What is actually our topics today? So our topic today is empathy and inclusivity of person with disability, that we focus more on the special education system. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nur Fatihah Johari, a student from Communication Department of IIUM. And today I will be your moderator. So not only that, we also have another moderator, which is Sister Nur Azza Syahirah Asmadi, also a communication student from IIUM. And today, we are honored to introduce to you guys on who actually our guest today. So our guest today is Mr. Kamarul Hafizin bin Khamis, which is a special education teacher in a primary school. And thank you so much, Mr. Kamarul, because spending your time with us for today's session. Alhamdulillah. And we also would like to thank to all the participants for your time to watch our video. So before we move further, let me remind that this webinar session is a pre-recorded version, and you can see the full video on Professional Speech YouTube channel and Facebook. You can just click the link that we provided in the bio message. And if you have any questions regarding today's topic, you can put your question in the comment section. And we move to the agenda of today's webinar. And first of all, we would like to know about the background of our guest, which is Mr. Kamarul. We also would like to know more about special education and his services. Maybe he might share his experiences as a special education teacher. And we also would like to know about the challenges that he might be faced during her services, and especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. And at the last session of the webinar, we will give the opportunity to Mr. Kamarul Hafizin to share his opinion, or maybe a hope for a better special education in the future, especially in the context of special education. So without further ado, I will pass the first session to my partner, which is Sister Nur Azza Syahirah Asmadi.
All right. Thank you, Sister Nur Fatihah Johari, for very good opening remarks for today's webinar session. Before I start, my name is Nur Azza Syahirah Asmadi, the student from Department of Communication in IIUM. So, let me start the question by asking about our expert educational background. First of all, I know that many audience may be curious about who is our speaker today. So could you please introduce yourself to our audiences?
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Miss Azza Syahirah and Miss Nur Fatihah from COMM 3090, Professional Speech Communication students from IIUM, for the invitation for this forum entitled Empathy and Inclusivity of Persons with Disabilities, the Special Education Perspective. Okay, hello. My name is Kamarul Hafizin bin Khamis, or you can call me Cikgu Hafizin. I am a special education teacher.
All right, welcome Cikgu Hafizin. Okay, now I want to know about your educational background. Can you share your educational background and what course are you taking?
All right. I graduated from Institute Pendidikan Guru Campus El Mukhas, ITJIK, Ceras, Kuala Lumpur on 2012, last 8 years ago. Okay, I took Bachelor of Special Education, major in hearing disabilities. That's all.
All right. We have been informed that you are a special education teacher. And could you please explain more about your current occupation?
Oh, recently I am teaching special education, learning disabilities class at SK Camp Iskandar, Mersing, Johor. As long as only me as a teacher in my integration program class, so I need to teach all the subjects that are listed by Department of Curriculum Development, DPK. That's all.
All right, thank you. Now, the next question is, may I know how long have you been working in this field? What I mean is your teaching experience.
Oh, my teaching experience is about 7 years. I started my teaching journey from July 2013 until now. My first school was SK LKPP Nita 1, also in Mersing, Johor. I taught there since 2013 until March 2020 this year. Then start from March 2020, I have been teaching at this school, SK Camp Iskandar, until now. I have been teaching just learning disability students for both school, including Down syndrome, mental retardation, and autism spectrum disorder, and also learning difficulties.
All right. Wow, that sounds interesting. And maybe someday I will visit in to your school because I stay nearby your school.
Of
SK
course.
Camp Iskandar, right? SK Camp
Yes,
Iskandar, right? Okay.
yes, yes.
So the next question is, all right. Why did you choose
Right.
to work with students with disabilities instead of working with the normal student?
Oh, I never expected to be a special education teacher. I choose this course on my second IPG application because I see that special education is something new to me. So it makes me feel like I explore into the whole new world so that I always feel excited to learn something new. That's why I choose it.
Thank you, Mr. Kamarul, for answering the question for the first part in this webinar session. Now we move to our main point in this webinar session. So I know that many of you are wondering what special education is all about. So I want to ask our teacher, Cikgu Hafizin, can you share your experience in handling or teaching the disability student to us?
Yes, for sure. I have some experiences teaching disability students, especially learning disability students. As you know that I was graduated in hearing disabilities major in my course during my bachelor study. So we are trying to teach hearing impairment students every practicum session for 6 months, exclude the internship program at the same school for a month. However, when I was officially posted to teach learning disability students, it was challenging experience where I need to learn from zero how to approach them and how to teach them. So I do a lot of reading, sharing experience from my elder special education teacher, and went to seminar and also short course to enhance my knowledge and skills. Teaching disability students, actually need a lot of skills, include communication skills, creativity, innovation to apply in our teaching and learning session. It also makes our lesson cheerful and able to make our students love to learn every day. That's the challenge to me because our students are an expectant person. They have different disabilities and unexpected emotions control. So we always must be ready to overcome that unexpected thing to ensure that our lesson is going to be smooth.
Yeah, I agree with you because different students have different emotion and difference of feelings.
Yes.
So we are have to understand them and try to catch up with them. So
Yes.
for the next question that I want to ask, what is your personal view on special education for disability students? Could you give could you please give a clear view of what is special education is all about?
Okay. Um, Special education is means an education for a pupil with special educational needs in a special school, integrated school, or inclusive education program from preschool until post-secondary education. As a special education teacher, we are able to choose any type of education program that we think suitable for our students and also depends on education program that was provided in our school. Special education pupils are include visual disability, hearing disability, speech disability, physical disability, learning difficulties, or any combination that is called multi-disabilities, who is certified by medical practitioners and optometrists and audiologists or a psychologist. Special education in Malaysia is under education, special education regulations 2013. That is the definition.
Alright. Alright, thank you, Cik Hafizin. As we all know that special education system is under the Ministry of Education, right? So, what do you think about the management of the Ministry of Education in Malaysia regarding the special education for disability students? Are you satisfied with this what we call that facilities that they give to this special education?
Oh, in my opinion, special education in Malaysia is developed rapidly. I satisfied with the special education facilities that are provided by Ministry Education. For example, our integrated program has received allocation until 50,000 ringgit to do renovation in our class to make it more suitable and handicap friendly. So that is the advantage to improve our facilities. We also apply for management budget plan every year to ask for any tools that we need in our class. Other than that, per capita grant PCG provided for special education every year also can be the source to buy any tools to improve our facilities that we are need. So so much so much facilities that are provided by our government.
Alhamdulillah, our government are concerned about the special education, especially for those who in needs, like disabilities person, right? So we move to the next
Yes, of
question.
course. Alhamdulillah.
Alright. From my research and observation, I could see that there are some schools that have both education system like normal education system and PPKI, if I'm not mistaken, right? PPKI is pendidikan, is program
Program
pendidikan khas
pendidikan
integrasi. I observed that there are also some schools that didn't provide the education system like PPKI, and they also only have one education system like normal student learn. And from your perspective, what are the differences between students who learn in special education and other peoples who learn in basic or normal education?
The differences between students who learn in special education and normal, or we call it typical education. Of course, about the curriculum based. Typical education need people to do learn and finish all the curriculum in a year. They must be finished based on their age and class standard. I mean, typical students follow the curriculum. Okay, I mean typical students follow the curriculum. It is different to us in special education. As a special education teacher, uh, we are able to choose what standard year in curriculum that is suitable for our students' level. I also can pick any learning standards in special education document that are useful for my students. That means special education is more flexible in education plan for the students. We can conclude that special education students followed by curriculum, difference with typical, right? Okay, so other than that, special education also has no examination as assessment, but we have individual education plan, or in Malay we call it Rancangan Pengajaran Individu (RPI), which is the plan that we target for students to achieve depend on their own needs. So for typical students, they have examination as one of the assessment needed. The last but not least
Alright.
is about flexibility in learning process. Special education is flexible to unite more than one objective lesson in a single lesson. For example, in the timetable, special education class has mathematics, Bahasa Melayu, and visual art on Monday. So teacher can do activity like drawing a group of balloons, and that is visual art, right? And implement the other subjects as one lesson. So the teacher can ask students how many balloons that they draw. That is mathematics. And what color it is in Bahasa Melayu. Okay. So it can be happen in the typical class because they need to learn all the subjects separately.
Wow, I think that sounds interesting. Even though the both education system is different, but there comes with advantage, right? Advantage and disadvantage for both educational system. I think the special education system is like quite interesting, especially for kids, right? For kids
Yes.
learning. Okay. Um, Recently, our Prime Minister, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, and the government has provided a large amount of budget for special education in 2021. May I know what is your point of view regarding this matter?
Oh, as we know that the government administration is the base of education development in every country. So
Yes.
in our country, budget 2021 presented by our Ministry of Finance, Senator Tengku Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz in Parliament on last November, stated that 45 million ringgit was announced for special education to enhance special education sector in government school. It's a big deal that our government provide for us in special education. I think it shows our government concern to us, special education recently, and this is positive changes that make special education become more competitive. Yeah.
I hope that the budget news will be a good news to all the education teachers, especially for teachers in special education. And
Inshallah.
now, I would like to pass the next session. Yeah, inshallah. I will pass the next session to our first moderator, which is Sister Nur Fatihah binti Johari. And Sister Nur Fatihah
Yes,
will
thank you,
conduct.
Mr. Azza Syahirah. So, Mr. Hafizin, as I mentioned earlier,
Yes.
that one of our agenda is to know about the challenges that you face during your services. So, I heard that you have mentioned some challenges, but in this context, I would like to know what is the biggest challenge that you face in working with students with disabilities, especially those who need the special education. What is the biggest
For
challenge?
me, the biggest.
Yep.
Okay, for me, the biggest challenge that I face in working with my beloved disability students is to be the best for them. That's all. To be honest, I always push myself to create creative, active, and innovation learning process. That's difficult to me, I think, to ensure that my students can learn in wonderful learning process, understanding, and also it may affect my learning process uh, to be never end.
I see. So I could say that be the best is the best way for all teachers
Yes,
to learn. Yeah.
and
Okay.
love what you do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We look into the current situation, COVID-19, right? So we know that not only Malaysia but all countries all over the world are affected by this pandemic. So we also know that many sectors are affected. So for you, Mr. Hafizin, as a special
Yes.
education teacher, um, is there any challenges that you face during this pandemic?
Oh, first of all, I really thankful and feel blessed by the God that gave me the way to be as an educator. During the unexpected pandemic, COVID-19, that might be the nightmare to all of us, of course. We need to be strong and always be positive to face this challenging year. For me as a teacher, the most challenging part that I faced during this pandemic is how to build safe environment in the school, especially in my special education class. It is hard to implement the safety awareness because of the misunderstanding among my students. Kids, especially on early age of 7 years, are like to play with friends, and it is hard to implement social distancing among them. And you know, the virus is can spread fastly, right? So that is
Yes.
my challenge to build the safety environment in my class.
I could say that since a teacher, since the normal classes feel the hard, teachers feel hard to teach,
Yes.
and when we look at the special education, of course, it's harder, right? So,
Yes.
look into the school. Uh, I would like to ask whether if the school have taken any action in implemented any action to teaching in the disability students, especially in the special education. What kind of action have been taken?
Okay. When the school has started to open last July, our school start to implement new norm like social distancing by separate students table, no outdoor and activities, communication practices like respect sign, and other daily practices in new norm. Then, if there any COVID-19 symptoms shown among students like flu, fever, cough, they are advised to have medical reference and not allowed to go to school, but as a prevention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for you as a teacher, what kind of method that you have been implemented for your students?
During the
During
MCO.
during the answer.
That we call home-based learning. All right. Recently, for your information, home-based learning, we call it HBL for the short form, that has been started 9 November until 17 December this year, 2020. So during HBL, a teacher can choose the best way to deliver teaching and learning process. We can use a lot of medium or platform to do HBL, such as online and of course offline. Yeah, and the HBL for online, such as Google Classroom, Kahoot, WhatsApp, Telegram, and for offline, it's like a worksheet. For HBL, I think creativity and effort by teacher and students and also parents involvement are the key of the HBL success. For me, I would like to use offline method such as worksheet for my HBL. I think it works on my special kids so that they can be focused to finish their work compared to online method. Even though online method is good, but for me, it is not suitable for my special education students. When we are online, the surrounding area to attract, the surrounding area may affect to quality of my online class. The reason is my special students are to attract the television, sounds around them, and of course also disruptive students, siblings. So then some of them need to share the phone to their parents and also need to share with their other siblings to do the same online class. So I think as a result, I think the best way to do learning process by doing offline method. They also can do the worksheet anytime that they are able to do, and they also can ask me anytime if they are confused with the worksheet content. So as long as the method are allowed by the Ministry of Education, I think it still be accepted. The main thing is lesson objective that has to be achieved. The lesson objective.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hafizin. So, Mr. Hafizin, before we jump into a conclusion for our session today, maybe you would like to share your opinion or maybe your hope on for a better educational system, especially in the context of special education.
Special education in Malaysia is still developed rapidly. I hope all the special education educators, include me, are always be able to add knowledge and skills about special education, doing more researches and in innovation, and also teach by our deep heart and sincere so that we can work with more effort and impact. On the other side, I hope that our government always support, concern, and enhance our special education sector by giving more budget, okay, to upgrade facilities and give teachers more exposure like seminar, course, and workshop to enhance our knowledge and skills. The last is, as a special education teacher, we must carry our motto, special education students are our responsibility. That's all.
Alright, thank you to Cikgu Hafizi, our moderator, our expert for today. And thank you to Sister Nur Fatihah, our first moderator for today. I think I agree with the motto that Cikgu Hafizin has given to us. The motto is sounds like this: special education students are our responsibility. For me personally, I think that the PPKI program or special education program is a very good alternative or initiative that show that how community out there accept those who are disability persons. And as a normal person, I think that we have to protect those disabilities persons and treat them fairly and treat them as our family. Alhamdulillah, now we have come to the end of our discussion for today's webinar session. In today's webinar, we have covered the educational background of the expert, which is Cikgu Hafizin himself. And he also shared his experiences and challenging part that he experienced in teaching the disability students. And he also shared his opinions regarding the topic of empathy and inclusivity of persons with disability that we focus more on the special education context. Thank you all for being here today and taking the time to patiently listen to what we had to say. And we wish you all a blessed day. If you have any question after the webinar session finish, feel free to reach out to us on our email that we already provided and give to you in the poster. And or else you also can put your comment in the comment section in the YouTube channel in our Facebook. Therefore, this concludes our webinar for today. Have a great day everyone, and thank you again to our special guest, Mr. Kamarul Hafizin, or we familiar with Cikgu Hafizi, for spending your time with us. And we really appreciate your knowledge, your sharing, and your experiences that you share with us in this webinar. And have a good day everyone. Bye. Assalamualaikum and thank you.
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam. You are welcome.